guys, how you doing? It is your girl Daisy Chiwako with yet another Marriage for Real video, and I'm so excited because I'm here with my girl Cynthia.
Hi.
If you are planning to get married anytime soon, or you are a newlywed, you definitely want to keep watching.
We'll just keep on praising him, raise him up. Oh yeah, you see people taking their place in your love. Oh yeah, as you keep your light in our lives from above. Oh yeah, you just spark the fire that fires me up. Oh yeah.
You're a married woman now.
I am.
Are you just coming up to your first year?
First year in, what month are we in? We're in February now. In 2 months. So when I was, 17? College time. He had a few friends who I also knew, so we had mutual friends. And therefore he knew of me and I knew of him. Like, we just knew each other, like we knew that we went to the same school. But then the time that he actually caught my eye, I caught his eye. It was our friend's birthday party. He wasn't meant to be going. I wasn't meant to be going that day at all. He came that day, and I wasn't going to say hi because we weren't friends. But anyway, later on, throughout the whole birthday thing, he said hello. He was like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And then he added me on Facebook. And then he messaged me, he was like, "Oh, hi, it was great to see you the other day, blah, blah, blah." And so that's how we started talking. I was at the end of my second gen. I was just like, no, I'm still very young. I don't really know. Okay, cool, whatever. Then our first date was like, we just went for like a few, it wasn't a proper date. We just had like a few snacks whilst we talked. And then we had another date, which was like a proper meal and that. And that's when it all kicked off. So.
Okay, fast forwarding. How did it get to from that stage to him proposing?
It wasn't an easy road, I ain't gonna lie. When did we start dating? Was I 22 or 21? I was 21. So I was deemed to myself still young, to my parents extremely young. Like, what are you thinking, you know? Yeah. But luckily I had like very supportive, like our pastors, Pastor Chia, Pastor S, they were my rock because they were supportive, and I knew us was supportive as well. Yeah. My mom was sending like prayers like, "God, I forbid it, I cancel it." And then and I'd be praying like, "God, no, please let her see you," kind of thing. So it was a battle of various like different things.
So that's interesting. So your mom wasn't for this?
No, not at the beginning, no.
Because there's people that ask me, Daisy, if my mother doesn't like the guy that I intend to marry, does that mean I shouldn't marry him? You know, there's that whole thing of the wisdom from the older women, and obviously taking advice, and it's your mum, so she's going to have another angle. But if you really know your heart, you know where God is leading you, you know that this is right for you.
I feel like if it was very easy, if she was like, "Oh yeah, accept him, bring him home the first time," I wouldn't have had to build up a tough skin as well, and also to be able to know that this is what I want. Right. So even her being at the beginning questioning it all made me realize how much I actually really did want to pursue this and like fight for my future husband. And it helped him as well because he faced the exact same thing. So we were facing
from his family?
From his family as well, yeah. It was from both families.
So they didn't like you?
No, he's too young. I was too young. We were all young.
Okay, let's talk about age. So you would have been 22 when you walked down the aisle?
No, I was 23. How old was I? Was I 20?
It was only a year ago.
I was 22,
Cynthia.
yeah.
Do you feel like it's a bit young?
I think it depends on the person, because I feel like everyone matures at different ages. So I felt like I was mature then. Okay,
but they say that guys are usually a few years behind.
They sure do say that. That's why the courtship period really helped us really see whether this was the right time, because I knew that he was my husband, whatever that might be, whether it's 2-3 years from now or 4 years, and he knew the same. But the date that we chose to get married was just because we knew we were ready. We also had marriage counselling, so like I encourage people to have marriage counselling. If the people, like the person conducting the counselling, can tell that you're mature by your answers, by the things that you bring forth, then I feel like that also helps you realise that yes, you are ready. Whereas if literally everyone and everything around me was like, you are not ready,
you would have had to listen to that.
I would have had to listen to that.
All right, so you've gotten married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was the wedding day like? It was
stunning. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was great. It was, a lot happened. You know, if like African weddings, we had 3 weddings.
Oh, God.
So it was great, but I was tired. Yeah. So with every wedding, there's going to be some things that go wrong. It's just, there'll be something. So some things did go wrong in terms of planning and caterers and things like that. But overall, the day was amazing.
Do you feel like you spent too much?
Oh, yes. If you can afford to pay for your own wedding, like for majority of it, then I would, it's your special day.
Would you clean out your savings to do it?
I wouldn't clean out my savings. Might take maybe 50% because it's a big day.
It's a big day.
But I wouldn't clear it out because after the wedding, you're going to need that money as well, depending on whether you bought a house or whether you're renting or whatever else it is. You're going to need money after the wedding, and there's a lot of things to, like after the day to like consider. Oh, it's a hard one because I liked my wedding.
Of course you did.
I spent some coin. Oh, it's a hard one because with African weddings, maybe it's for me, we had to invite a lot of people. Now, if we didn't have to invite a lot of people, we would have cut the cost down significantly.
All right, Itunu says, I got married at age 20. We've been married 20 years in June. Yes. Yeah. Lady G says 18 plus is okay to get married. It all depends on individual maturity. I think that's what you said.
Yeah, that's where I was coming from.
You got married. You had a beautiful wedding. Honeymoon, where did you guys go?
Okay, so I can never pronounce the place, but we went to Italy. We went to Venice, but not in the actual Venice, the boat bit. We got into a taxi for like half an hour, 45 minutes to the beach resort. It was called L'Ile di Gisolo.
So, first time you guys did the do.
Home.
Was you really relaxed or nervous as hell?
Well, I was tired because it was on the wedding day.
I know you've been waiting all this time, but babe, I am tired.
I was nervous, but it was a mixture of feelings. Yeah,
Okay.
it was a whole,
Did it meet up to the, because you know you tend to build this whole, when we do it, he's going to walk in, he's going to pick me up, and then I'm going to float in the air, and you have this whole, and the sun will shine at the moment, and all. Did it meet your expectations?
I didn't have those, the sun is shining. It wasn't like that, but it was, I feel like for me then, for both of us in a way, it was more the union and the fact that now, before God, it was
sealed.
It was sealed, and it was more of a...
The connection.
Like, the connection, yeah. And now the connection was also approved before God.
Right.
Because that was like, obviously something that growing up, like, no sex before marriage. And like, obviously now you're married, now it's okay. But now it's like, your brain now has to understand. Now it's okay. You know?
So you're kind of a little bit like, it's not.
Do we? Like, I know we're married, but do we? Do we do it? So that was a transition, like a mental transition. But on the actual day, it was quite nice.
I asked that because sometimes, you know, you can spend your whole time building up this idea.
What it's going to be like.
On that and other things in marriage. And then sometimes it's not quite what you've built up in your head. So it's important to stay a little bit real. Yeah. Two people coming together for the first time might be a bit bumpy.
Yeah.
Things not going quite right.
But I do understand. I think it's a good question to ask because obviously everyone has different experiences and everyone brings different things to a marriage. Someone might be a bit more experienced,
right,
and others might not. I don't feel like it's good to judge someone or to have these major expectations. And if you make like the intercourse or whatever you want to call it, the be all and end all, and that's never going to be the thing that satisfies you in life. You need to be attracted to him in other ways, and your friendships, so that can't be, because you ain't gonna be having sex all day every day.
You see,
you need to be friends with him the other times, like otherwise.
But don't you feel like before you get married, you kind of feel like you're gonna be having sex every day?
You do. You think that, but it's not real. It's not.
At some point, you're gonna be like, boom.
Yeah. At some point, someone's gonna go to work.
At
some point, you just don't do it. Like, you have other things to do.
But I'm sure if I asked him, he'd be saying,
yes, you can. Totally.
Was there a different feeling from being girlfriend to being
There
wife?
was a different feeling. There definitely was a different feeling because, I don't know, you kind of carry an honor of being, like, it becomes like an honor because you're now a wife, you know, and you're there forever kind of thing. However, having said that, it on the second day, it doesn't click because like yesterday you wasn't his wife.
So when did that click happen? When was it like, oh my days, I am a wife?
I don't know. I think it was when we got to the honeymoon, because they were like, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Ziza. I was like, who are you talking to? I was like, is that me? I don't know. It just kind of gradually. Now I know I'm a wife, but at the beginning I knew I was his wife. But like,
I guess it's about growing into the
role, yeah. Because I wasn't doing wifey things yet. So I was just like, okay, I am a wife, but I don't know, you know?
All right, let's go back to expectations, because I think that expectations is one of the biggest things that newlyweds struggle with. We build up this idea of what marriage is.
Yeah.
And what's expected of each other. So it's like, well, you're a husband, so I've read somewhere that you're supposed to do this. Because that's what husbands do. You know, when the husband's like, well, I thought you would be up making breakfast because that's what wives do. Like, it's just, and it's based on somebody else's philosophy and what have you, and not based on who you are as people. Did you find that either you or Arnold came in with certain expectations that you've had to adjust?
I feel like you can never just, because everyone changes and you have to adjust to the change. So we will forever be changing things around just because people change in life. At the beginning, we knew of each other like because we'd see each other quite regularly, but we never lived together.
Living together is different.
It's different, y'all. It's different. It's different. Before we got married, we talked about a lot of things about expectations. Right. Like, will you be the cook or will I be the cook? Who will be doing the bins and stuff? We'd have those conversations before we were married anyway. But then now, though, he cooks as well. So that the other day, I came home, I was tired, I was just not feeling like cooking. And he went and cooked, did a whole meal kind of thing. So I am the regular cook. It's my other occupation.
By force.
Because we were so fresh at it. We just
kind
of rolled with it, like, oh, you do this, I do this.
And you know what? I love that, because that's kind of, I think, the best way to go about it. You build your relationship and your marriage based on who you two are, not based on these expectations that have come from somewhere. You know, when you get into it, you find that you'll naturally fall in. It's like when you're in business with somebody, you know, you'll find, oh, well, actually, you're good at that. So you handle the money, and you know what, I'm better at sales, so I'll do. And you naturally fall into the role.
That's how it happened. I feel like don't let your other half suffer when you can help.
And the thing is, a lot of the times we're making our other half suffer when you can do it, but because you're like, but that's what a man's supposed to do. So I think that there's things that naturally women do take up the role, when the nurturers, when the homemakers and what have you. So, okay, you know, we've got little boxes, but just don't let those boxes hold you tight. Just let them be loose and not rigid and free-flowing. And if Mr. Chuaka wants to jump into my box for a while, I don't stop him. Because we've kind of talked a little bit about the in-laws before you got married, and the resistance, and you guys pressing forward and knowing that this is what God wants for your life and you're going to do it. Have the in-laws been a bit involved more than you'd like them? Have you had to sort of put some boundaries?
Oh, we nipped it in the bud.
You nipped it in the bud.
We nipped it in the bud at the beginning because we're both from completely different cultures. Well, we're both African, but we have different cultures. Because we're from different countries. Does that make sense?
That's like with myself and my husband.
Exactly. Like sometimes culture can come into things and it doesn't necessarily mean it's right. So we kind of had to start be like, no, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, that's not us. But backing each other up as well. I feel like you have to nip it in the bud there and then. In a respectful manner, I just do feel like you have to support your husband's decision or your wife's decision, whatever.
Was that scary for you? To almost to cut the apron string and say, okay, look, Mum, because I feel like people sort of keep the in-laws in as a safety blanket in case this man messes me up. Mummy just stay by. Do you know what I mean? Was that scary for you to say, look, you've got to step, and I've got to support my husband?
I know, and I'm super close to my mummy. I love my mummy.
Love me, Mum.
It was hard, emotionally it was hard because I love my mom, and I'm like, yo, I'm here to help my mom, so forever, you know. But at the same time, there is a line, and once you get married, your husband comes first. So
some people really, really struggle with that concept.
Yeah.
Your husband first, and then your actual mother that gave birth to you
comes after. And it can make you feel like, what if my husband doesn't want me to do this? Then what do I do? It was hard to let go, but it was worth it, because now we're much closer.
Right.
Like the fact that I'm like, this is my husband first and my mum after. My mum then respected it.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
she'll respect your husband.
Yeah.
She'll respect your union.
Yeah.
She'll look at you guys as grown up.
Exactly. We moved from being 22 to like, we're probably 40 now, to be honest.
I want to ask you about spirituality in your marriage, because you know, we're not always going to be at the same level.
I agree.
You know, and I remember, you know, when I got really on fire for the Lord, finding myself very frustrated with my husband, because I'd be like, we're supposed to pray together. And when I'm saying we're supposed to pray together, I mean like an hour of like, he used to be more of a, well, you know, thank you, Lord, you know, for the day. Thank you for blessing us, you know, just keep us. You know, very simple prayer, you know, that's where he was at that time.
Yeah.
And I would just be like,
Lord, why? Why?
Build him up spiritually. I did a video actually not so long ago talking about not becoming a spiritual judge of your spouse, which you can do. Yeah. Like you expect them to be at a certain level on their journey by force because they've married you. Like, you know, they're still a human being. God still has to do.
They have their own path as well.
Right. Their own testimony, their own walk with the Lord. And I had to learn, you know, and step back and be like, yo, let him fall in love with the Lord himself. Let him have his own testimony. Let God fulfill what he needs. He might need to go through certain things in his life
to get there.
Which may impact me, but that's the call that God has put him on. It's not up to me to rush him past all the things that he needs to go through. Did you feel like there was a spiritual disparity?
Before we were married, there was, because remember you said that he started to come in church, because he didn't go to church before. And for me, before I was like, you need to find your husband in church. You gotta find him in church. But then at the same time, that's why I love Pastor Chi and Pastor Eze. They're like, you don't need to leave the church to go find your husband, because he found me and then he came to my church. He like I let's say I was here and then he kind of came up. Right. And then he rose up, and then I started running out, babe, don't leave me behind. So it's always like this. It's always fluctuating with us.
Yeah, same here. Because my husband's like really like this now, and I'm like, babe,
bro, don't leave me.
Calm down.
I think it's good to pray together, but I also think it's good to pray separately.
Yes.
Don't forget to do that, because at the beginning we kind of tended to pray together all the time, and that was our prayer time. But then I was like, I soon figured out, no, you that's great, but you also need separately, but you do need togetherness as well, because it's great to go together before God as well.
May says, what is your advice on us waiting upon the Lord but in our 30s? So if you'd reached 30, would you be like, look, we're doing something about this now?
We're going to find me a man. I would still wait on the Lord. Only because once you get married, if you decide I'm going to settle for anyone, that you will regret that for the rest of your life. If Arnold wasn't my friend, I don't know what I'm doing with this guy. Like, if I didn't like him as a friend, like if we weren't like that close, like we catch banter, and because you will love him physically, he'll be attractive, that's great. But when we're 50, you know, I'm not going to be all snatched as I used to be. And there needs to be something else. If you settle for anyone else, you're not going to have that. And you might be great the first, you know, dating period, first few months of marriage. But then you just be like, I hate this guy. But you made a vow to God.
If you believe in the God that you serve, and you are growing and learning and just being the woman that God has called you to be, he will bring that right person for you. However, there's still... See, I'm going into something else now, Cinthia. Hold me back. You have to be available.
You do.
You have to be approachable.
You do.
You know, you can't be this intimidating, hard, locked up person that never does anything, doesn't go anywhere from Bible study to prayer meeting to, and that's it. And if a man even looks at you, you've cussed him, you sinner.
There's a balance.
Open to love. open to making friends, building friendships, meeting new people.
Be a bit more available to conversations, because he might not end up being your husband, but he might become your business partner.
Oh yeah.
He might become a blessing that you've been rejecting.
Guys, we've been with Cinthia Ziza. Go ahead and go to YouTube, follow her, Cinthia Ziza and Cynthia Arnold. They're the 2 channels. Guys, have an amazing evening. Stay blessed.
Thank you. Bye.